So a whole bunch of listings dropped this morning, a bunch of stuff from both the Studio Series, the Generation Selects, and that of the future Transformers Legacy line. And a lot of this was taken with a grain of salt. And then JT Prime 17 came forward and confirmed that a bunch of this stuff is legit. So we are going to cover it in parts today. It's a lot to take in, so kick back, get your hot cocoa, and get hyped for future Transformer product for 2022, potentially. Again, take this with a grain of salt. It has been correct in the past, but again, take it with a grain of salt. Let's break this down. So we're going to jump with first Studio Series and Studio Series 86. This is broken down into its different classes and then its waves. So we're going to start with Core Class. Now, keep in mind, everything we're going to talk about, some of it has been talked about in the past in separate segments, but there is a lot of new stuff here. This does reconfirm that Core Class is going to be a price point of the future of the Studio Series line. I guess it found some success in that with Kingdom, and we are now marching forward here into Studio Series and Studio Series 86 with that. So Wave 1 is going to have Transformers 6 Ravage and Transformers 6 Shockwave. Again, Transformers 6 is what is labeled as Transformers Bumblebee or the Bumblebee movie. So we will have a Ravage and a Shockwave in that price point. What is confusing is a tiny Shockwave. I want to say, and it's going to come again with another character too, I want to say that Shockwave and the other character might just be placeholder names for something else of a trademark that they are currently licensing, but they don't want to put out yet, and that's usually the reasoning behind it when we get these weird code names or stand-in names. So take that Shockwave with a grain of salt. Wave 2, we have Transformers 6 Ravage, so Bumblebee movie Ravage, Transformers 6 Shockwave again, this time only 2 per case as opposed to 4, and then an 86 Spike, probably an exosuit, probably transformable. That's pretty cool. Hopefully it'll look really good. Considering how well some of those core class figures have been already in Kingdom, I have some high hopes, and I'm looking forward to that. Next up, Wave 3, we have a 86 wheelie, so a good upgrade to your wheelie that's on the Grimlock that you already have. Now we'll have something that's transformable and probably much more better engineered. And here's another example of what I think is a placeholder name, and I'll get deeper into this one. An 86 Ratchet. Now, Ratchet was in the 86 movie, and he was there, and then he died. And I don't think they're going to do a Core Class 86 Ratchet, let alone a corpse of a Core Class 86 Ratchet. I don't know. I think that this is, again, another placeholder name, potentially for Scalpel, a.k.a. the Doctor, a.k.a. Hair Doctor from Revenge of the Fallen. He was that little microscope dude that helped revive Megatron in Revenge of the Fallen. I think the reason why that might be a stand-in name for Scalpel, and I could be wrong, but this is just me trying to, work it through in my head here. Scalpel trademark was trademarked in 2003. It was used for a G.I. Joe character with Hasbro. It got refreshed in 2009, was then used for the Revenge of the Fallen Decepticon character like we just talked about, and then it expired in 2013 and was never refreshed, and that was that. So if they do want to use the Scalpel trademark again, they're not going to be so obvious out in the open when it comes to the labeling of the UPCs and all of these listings, because they want to prevent other companies from seeing it and then trademarking it themselves and screwing up their plans. So this could be potentially just a stand-in name for a future character. Could be Scalpel. That's just my take. But again, something that's small that would make sense for that core class price point, Scalpel is definitely one of them. And then Wave 4 is, again, 86 wheelie, a repack from the previous wave. Dark of the Moon TF3 Laserbeak, pretty cool, because his bigger toy was a mess and kind of fragile and way too oversized compared to everything else as a deluxe. And an 86 Rumble. So we're going to get more cassettes in the future. Deluxe price point. Now, 86 Perceptor, we know about this one. It was shown to us by Hasbro. A Transformer 6, and it's 3 Transformer 6 characters here. Ratchet, Wheeljack, and Brawn. Again, those are the Bumblebee movie versions that appeared in that opening scene, so that's pretty hype. Going to be seeing the alt mode of all those characters for the very first time because we didn't get to see that in that clip at the beginning of the movie. For Wave 2, we have, again, a slew of Bumblebee movie characters: Wheeljack, Ratchet, RC, and Ironhide. Again, it's those Bumblebee movie characters, so pretty hyped to see those. And then in Wave 3 here, here's an interesting one. Studio Series 86 RC could be a Earthrise repack for the third time. I really doubt that. Could be a retool or a re-engineering of the Earthrise RC from Kingdom, and it could be possible, or it could be something made from the ground up, which would be very interesting to say the least. Then we have a Transformers Revenge of the Fallen, aka TF2 Sideways. Got to keep that trademark alive of Sideways. And he's popping up right here, so it makes sense. I knew this was going to be coming because at some point they got to use that trademark again. And it was going to be the final year for that. And TF3 Bumblebee, so a Dark of the Moon Bumblebee for the Wave 3 of Deluxe. And then the final wave of Deluxe for Studio Series, Wave 4, 86 Perceptor again. 86 RC again. Transformers 5 Hot Rod, aka The Last Night. So that's interesting. I wonder if it'll just be a slight tool of the original toy, or is it going to be a brand new made from the ground up? That should be interesting to see. And same thing here with another one that could be something made from the ground up, and I'd be really interested to see how they do it. A TF4, aka Age of Extinction, Crosshairs. How are they going to do his cloak slash jacket? I don't know, but it'll be pretty cool to see how they do that if they don't just repack and retool the original Age of Extinction toy. Let's jump into the Voyagers. So we got Wave 1, TF6 Soundwave, Bumblebee movie Soundwave from the beginning, probably going to work with that Ravage figure from the core class Wave 1. It kind of works together because they're both Wave 1 characters that ship together, so should be interesting to see how they cross-sell there. Here's an interesting one. Studio Series 86 Hot Rod variant. Now, the quick answer that people could say here is, oh, it's going to be shattered glass. Black repaint, that's it. But it's a Studio Series 86 thing, which has historically been about stuff that's been in these movies, continuities, or whatever. So I'm thinking, could be, it's been done in the past with Hot Rod, could be some kind of clear, Matrix holding Hot Rod character. Like they did the clear blue Matrix Hot Rod, or Rodimus in this case, with the old Henkei Classics mold many years ago in Japan, where they did a blue repaint saying like, oh, it's when he was holding the Matrix for 5 seconds before he gave it to Ultra Magnus. Could be that. And saying that might then lead to, well, what are the accessories? Because it's being sold in that Voyager price point. So that Matrix might be clear blue. And then maybe instead of including the stuff that he came with previously, maybe it'll include some different accessories like a fishing pole, or I don't know, his sword and lightsaber, his lightsaber sword and his shield and training drone from when he was in the ship with Cup or something. I don't know. Could be something like that. But very interesting that it's a Hot Rod variant in the Studio Series 86. If it was something Hot Rod and it was like Generation Selects or something else, I'd agree with everyone that it's going to be shattered glass or toy accurate colors or Target Master. There's so many different kind of ideas that you could do with that mold. But because it's in the Studio Series, that really kind of funnels it into really very few things that it could be. Wave 2 here, Studio Series 86 Junkyard, which we talked about in the past, one of the many variants of the Junkion, so expect that at some point. Interesting cross with the name. I talked about it in the previous segment about that leak. And then, of course, a TF6 Soundwave. Again, there's a lot of repacks into future waves, which is good news because it gives people opportunities to pick it up if they miss it the first time when the wave hits their store. They might get a chance the second time or third time around. And Wave 3, we got a TF6 Thundercracker. So again, using one of those Tetrajets from the movie continuity, from Bumblebee the movie, give us a Thundercracker, and a TF4 Galvatron. So Galvatron's finally getting a new toy from his Age of Extinction version. And last but not least, we have the leader class, and there's a big one at the end of it. So first we have the 86 King Starscream. We saw that in the Hasbro Pulse reveal. No big surprises there, not much to talk about. Wave 2 has 86 Sludge, so we're finally getting our Dinobot, getting another member added to the crew. That leaves us just Snarl and that of Swoop, which we'll probably see at some point in the future, who knows. And the big one here, long overdue, long overdue, Wave 3, TF2, aka Revenge of the Fallen, The Fallen. Wow, this has been long overdue. This was a guy that, man, just needed a good toy forever. His first release toy was based off of his concept, so it really wasn't all that there. The colors weren't correct, the clear plastic wasn't done right, the general aesthetic wasn't correct, but it was serviceable. Then the better versions of that character were the non-transformable stuff, like the Robo replicas and stuff like that. So those were kind of the best version of the Fallen, but they didn't really fit in your display. They weren't the right scale and silly stuff like that. Then they did that Hunt for the Decepticons Revenge of the Fallen, which was a great sculpt, had the removable face so you could see the skull under it and everything, and he came with his staff, but it was done in the wrong color scheme, done in this like purple ice kind of color scheme. And the speculation was, well, Hasbro's been known to do the bad color scheme first and then do something better later on that then make people buy two molds. And that Revenge of the Fallen mold, that specific second one, went for very good money because people were just assuming this is about as good as it's going to get. Japan didn't do anything. There wasn't a Transformers the best Fallen version of it. So we just kind of sat around and we just waited. And that thing was a Voyager price point, and that was that. Now we have this. It's going to be a leader price point. They're going to make a huge effort to make this screen accurate. And because it's a leader, that leads to more bells and whistles and extras. He's probably going to have the removable face. He's probably going to have the staff. He might even have the matrix of leadership. You know, like there might be all kinds of little extras here and there. The background piece for the cardboard is probably going to be the Sun Harvester in Egypt. So that's pretty hype. That's probably the big winner out of everything that we just talked about here, is getting the Fallen back and having that trademark kicking around again. So pretty hype stuff. That's it more or less for the Studio Series and Studio Series 86. We have other stuff, but let's just marinate on this for now, and we'll jump into the other stuff later. But pretty cool stuff. Let me know what you think, and what is your favorite out of all of this? For me, 100%. It's got to be the Fallen.